Welcome, everybody. Let me turn this down. There we go. Welcome to our Wednesday night live. We are here talking about tonight the 10 distortions that cloud relationships. That's kind of a big topic, right? So I thought we could dive deep into that. And we'll also be entertaining some Q&A. So as I'm doing discussing these 10 distortions, you might think about how these apply to your life. And when you ask questions, maybe your questions are related to some of these distortions, whether or not you have them, or maybe you have some other things you want to talk about. All right, we have some of our regulars here tonight. Welcome, Marianne. And more showing up. And we also have Instagram on the line as well. So welcome, Instagram. All right, let's just dive right into these 10 distortions. There's been a lot of challenges when it comes to relationships. It seems like ever since the pandemic or the plandemic. So that's another reason why I wanted to discuss these, is because they are still alive and well, all of these distortions, and why it makes it very challenging. The first distortion I wanted to talk about is something that's far more common than you might realize, and that's having a closed heart chakra. And the reason I'm doing this one first is because this is one of the programs that's being implanted into humanity by the dark ancient interference. And I calibrated that about 70% of the population has a closed heart. Now, that might seem hard to believe, and it might be hard to believe if you have a closed heart chakra. So that might be one of the questions you might want to ask: is your heart chakra open, and how much? Because when the heart is closed, we stop caring. We stop caring about ourselves. We stop caring about other people. And life is just not very much fun when our hearts are closed, or even if they're very much diminished. It's hard to feel love. It's hard to show love. And especially when it comes to a relationship. Now, you might also be attracting someone with a very similar heart frequency. And therefore, you might be wondering why you can't feel their loving energy. Maybe their heart's closed. So this is a very big piece that needs to get corrected. And it's an easy remedy, actually, this one piece. So that's something that became calibrated and corrected easily. The second one I wanted to discuss is the father wound. Now, that may be big for some of you and maybe not so big for others. It will all depend. However, this sets the tone, and this is the first relationship that women have in their life with someone of the opposite sex. And so that can create a foundation for all future relationships with men. And if that was very distorted, then that's going to carry over into your relationships. So that's another one that can be calibrated. How much is left, like from 0 to 100%? How much have you cleared that over your lifetime? So that could be infiltrating into your relationships. The other would be the mother wound. Now, this is the role model for women on how relationships work. So was your mother a doormat? Was she a single mom who didn't have any help and support from the masculine side? Was she abused? There's a lot of ways that the mother can create wounding. Also, was she neglectful? Um, I know in my case, I didn't consider that I had a mother wound until I realized, because I was sort of stuck on the father wound, having been sexually abused by my father. But then when it finally dawned on me, or I realized, okay, darn it, hang on just a second. I always forget this. Hang on, hold that thought, right? Okay, this is the recording. Okay, so now it is recording. I always forget to push that. Okay, so the mother wound. So I didn't realize that I had this mother wound until I realized that my mother was very negligent in protecting me from my father. Like, how did that even happen? Where was she, you know? So that became part of the mother wound that I had to clear. So the mother wound can take on lots of different aspects, but it's definitely one that can infiltrate into your relationships. Another distortion that carries over into our relationships is any kind of sexual trauma. Now, this could be incestuous. This could be when you got older and maybe maybe you were raped or something along those lines. Those frequencies get embedded into our field, and it creates distrust, it creates fear, it creates armor to protect ourselves. And when we have this armoring, it's very hard to be vulnerable in a relationship. So this trauma can imprint into lots of different areas of our energy field. So that is another big one. And I have calibrated that about, what was it? Let me get my glasses on here. Okay, 70% of women have had some sort of sexual trauma in their life. And that's usually where the focus is. But also, people don't realize that men also experience sexual trauma. And about much less, but it's still about 40% of men have experienced some sort of sexual trauma. So these can definitely cloud relationships, cause distrust, and it's really hard to be vulnerable and open and to maybe even feel safe in a relationship. So that's another very big distortion that can happen. Number 5 this is an interesting one, is masculine wounding. Now, many, and probably most men, I haven't calibrated how many, but most men have been circumcised. This has created massive trauma for men. And it's been about for the last 6,000 years that this trauma has been imprinted onto men. And this is a procedure that is done without any anesthesia to one of the most sensitive parts of a man's anatomy. And so you can bet that has created lots of trauma, masculine wounding. And some suspect that this is also part of the reason that men have wanted to push women down so much as a way of acting this frequency out. So anyway, that's another very big distortion that can infiltrate into relationships. And it's so deep that men may not even be aware of it. So that's another one that can be calibrated. Number 6 is a lack of trust. Now, that's a huge one in relationships. If you don't trust your partner, you're always going to be looking for that thing why you shouldn't trust them, checking their phone, making sure that they're where they say they are. And so always like keeping track of each other. And this lack of trust actually starts here. When we don't trust ourselves, it's really hard to trust someone else. And so that's another huge piece in relationships. Another big one is low self-worth. Now, if you have a low self-worth, self-value, you're always going to be looking on the outside to get validation from your partner. Are you enough? Are you pretty enough? Are you thin enough? Are you this enough? Whatever enough. And it doesn't come from your partner. Your partner reflects back to you how you are, how your frequency is here. So self-worth actually comes from a place where you self-generate it in your own heart. And so when the heart is open and flowing, this is the place where we self-generate love. Now, a lot of people don't realize that. This is one of the programs that has been put on humanity, on their heart chakras, to make them believe that they have to go outside, or that's at least the inclination, to go outside and find that person to love them so that they feel loved, so they don't feel lonely or lost. And that's backwards. So love is self-generated here first, and then we magnetize the frequency that we are emitting. Otherwise, if you're operating from a closed heart, you're going to attract someone else with a closed heart and maybe also with low self-worth. All right, number 8, an imbalance in the polarities of the masculine and feminine energies. Now, this is something that I've been focused a lot on recently, and it's really important that these two parts are balanced. Well, I believe in the most ideal world. Of course, I'm a Libra, so I'm all about balance. However, if you are a very masculine type of woman, then you're just the way polarities work. So on if the scale were to go like this, and say you're way down at this end of the scale, so all of this is masculine energy, well, your counterpart is going to match that with a very low amount of masculine energy because you've used it all up, right? And so they will be more feminine in their frequency. So the amount that you are in the masculine energy, he or your partner will be in that feminine energy. So women who want to attract a very masculine man, they need to be in their feminine energy. That's just how polarities work. But I am of the mindset that when they're balanced, then both the feminine frequency and the masculine frequency, that in your own field, you know that you kind of have your back, that you can support yourself, and you can know that you can allow yourself to feel safe to drop into your gifts, your magic, your medicine. And from that place, then you can manifest your partner who can also do the same for you. If you can't do it for yourself, you're not going to allow your partner to do it for you as well. So that's another important part. And even more recently, we have been taking all of that to a whole nother level with the feminine and masculine frequencies. So we have now are working on the balance between the queen and the king. When the king is at a high frequency, then that queen can feel safe, protected, supported to drop into her gifts. Same with the priestess energy. And this is more of maybe this more spiritual women who are light workers, who are really tapping into their gifts and their alchemy and medicine. So you have the priestess, and then you need that priest energy. So we've been clearing lots of distortions from the priest energy because of all of the nonsense that's been going on with priests on the planet. And so there's massive amounts of curses and programming and lots of yucky stuff, distortions, perversions, all being cleared out of this priest energy so that we can be balanced. Then there's the high priestess and the high priest. And last week I was talking about the Hierophant or Hierophant, however you say it. And I was thinking that it was just a balance of both masculine and feminine energies. However, I've come to discover that it is more identified as a masculine energy and is the same as the high priest. So we'll stick with that. At any rate, we've been taking this whole polarity, this architecture of polarities, to much greater levels, and that's been also very fascinating. Two more things. Okay, so two more things. One is having an addiction to drama and chaos. That can also be calibrated. And when someone has that addiction, that's what they're going to be creating. So it's not conducive to a healthy relationship, to a fun relationship, to a rewarding relationship. Nobody wants to be in the energy of drama and chaos. However, if you don't realize or know that you have this frequency going on, you might be creating drama and chaos and not realizing that you're creating it because you're too busy blaming it on your partner. So definitely that's one that has got to go. It doesn't belong in a healthy relationship and can be easily calibrated and removed. And then the last one that I wanted to talk about, let me see. Yes, okay. The last distortion that clouds relationships is that you're not ready to let go of your stories. Now, that might not make sense, especially if you've been struggling or you keep attracting the same kind of partner and you're sick of it and you're just so done with it and you say that in your head. However, if you're not ready to let go of that story, and that can be calibrated, that can be measured, how ready you are to let go of that story. If you're not as ready as you think, then you're going to keep creating the stories that go round and round and round, whether it's being abused or taken advantage of or betrayal or lied to or whatever the drama is. You're going to keep creating that because it's deep in your subconscious where you don't really realize. And all of these things can easily cloud relationships, and they can be calibrated and removed. And so this is what we are going to be doing in the next couple of weeks. Tomorrow is our monthly luminary activation. We do this once a month. And tomorrow, if you've never done never had a clearing or you've never done the luminary activation, I really highly suggest that you join us, especially if you ask and you find out that your heart is closed. That's what we're going to be doing, focusing especially on tomorrow. Now we're going to be doing the process of running your energy where everything gets thoroughly grounded, your heart gets grounded, open, flowing so you can give and receive, so you can self-generate love. And we're going to get your whole energy field flowing so that you're going to feel fabulous. But we're also focusing especially on the distortions that keep the heart closed. And we're going to be doing the first level of raising and amplifying that feminine energy and the masculine energy in every chakra. So all of the chakras, and then making sure that these can communicate in each of these chakras. When all of that is happening and flowing, it makes the manifestation of relationships much more inclined to be the kind that you want. So that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. But as you can see, there's a lot of distortions that can happen in relationships. And so that's why Spirit is guiding this and has chosen this next topic because there's so many levels, there's so many layers to this, that we're going to spend 12 days every day practicing for 20 minutes, running our energy, and then just diving deeper and deeper and deeper into all of these layers that we just talked about. We're also going to be going deeper into those feminine and masculine hierarchy and clearing all the distortions that interfere with relationships. So consider if that is aligned to you, and maybe you'd like to join us. Maybe you'd just like to put your toes in the water and just join us tomorrow and just see how it goes. You're also welcome to do that. You can come tomorrow just as a standalone thing. Where you can find this in this QR code, I think that takes you to my link tree. But you can also go to my website there at the bottom of the screen, KimberlySherry.com, and click on Luminary Activation. All right, that's my spiel for today. I'd love to see what kind of questions you guys have. So, wow, we got quite a few going on here. Okay, great. Welcome, Sue and Marianne. Okay, welcome, Jetta. As a pelvic floor, let's see. As a pelvic floor specialist, I can confirm all of the trauma with circumcising. Yes, absolutely. Had I known, of course, this was more than 40 years ago, I never would have done it to my son. Oh my God, that was horrendous. Yeah, anyway, what's done is done, right? But the trauma can be released from the energy field. So that's the good news. Gigi wants to attract a masculine man. I had to be the masculine in my former relationship. I never felt feminine with him. Yes, yeah. And so definitely that was not his fault. And it really wasn't anybody's fault. It's just the way things work. I know that when I was raising my two children, you definitely have to take on that masculine role model. And however, that can be shifted. So that's the good news. All right, Kaylin, welcome, Kaylin. My sister thinks that her and I may have been sexually abused by our father. Doesn't seem true to me, but what do you see? What about our father being sexually abused? If so, by whom? Thanks. Okay, let's check. And thank you for being brave to ask such a personal question. Let's see. First, was your sister sexually abused? I'm getting a no. So that would not, I don't think she was sexually abused by anyone. And whether or not you were, I'm also getting a no. So that's the good news. Possibly, was he ever sexually inappropriate with her? Not even getting that. So I'll check one more thing, and if I get a yes, I'll let you know what it is. Okay, hang on. Okay, that's a no too. I was checking about your mom. So yay. Glad to hear that. And then another question by Kaylin. What do I need to let go of to attract a quality mate? When are you looking to do your next retreat in Hawaii? The next retreat in Hawaii will be, it looks like March of next year. So that's going to be a health and wellness longevity retreat, no medicine. So that's already in the works. So what do you need to let go of to attract a quality mate? You have some programs in your sixth chakra that create a lot of fear of doing enough, like you wouldn't be able to do enough. So there's a program that makes you think that it's about doing. Of course, that's a very masculine thing to want to do things for your partner. And so, but the program is that you won't be able to do enough to make her happy. And so that's a lie, and it's not based on that. However, that's the first thing that comes up. Your heart is grounded and 100% open and flowing, so that's good news. If I were to look at your avatar for a an aligned relationship, that avatar is not grounded. So you would need to ground that. There are programs in the root chakra of this avatar. There's about 20, and they have a lot of fear in them. So fear of being unlovable is another piece to this component. And let's see. Okay, so as I'm talking, you're doing this work. So your avatar is now grounded, and but the heart is not grounded. It's only 3% open. So while your heart is nice and open, this is not, because this feels kind of scary. This feels like a scary place to be. So the heart of this avatar can be opened by clearing in the root chakra curses, about 50 curses that are keeping that heart closed. These are from AI, ancient interference, and so they love interfering with our hearts, which is why we're going to spend tomorrow's luminary activation on this. And so this is another place where the heart energy is showing up as closed, even though yours is open. They love interfering with the heart in relationships because they don't want people to be in love. They don't want coherence or collaboration in relationships. They love it when people are fighting and arguing and drama and chaos, right? This love energy is their kryptonite. And so they're going to do as much as possible to try and squelch this energy. So those are a few things, Kaylin. The rest, one more piece, your left receiving hand is blocked with about 100 curses. So you might, and this plays into that piece that where I was talking about that fear of not being able to do enough. Well, if it's not being received in this space, then whether by yourself or by your partner, then you can give, but if she's not receiving, then it will feel like it's being rejected, and you might take it personally. Anyway, so there you go. I hope that helps. Okay, great. Marianne, I would like to know if my heart is open and grounded. Am I allowed to ask if my husband's is as well? You can ask, yes. We're not doing any clearings here, although, as was just demonstrated, sometimes people clear as I'm talking, so I can't help that. But I'm not doing any clearing. So if we just look at your husband's heart, there's nothing wrong with looking, okay? And I also believe that there's nothing, like, you don't have to get permission to help someone get grounded. I don't believe. I think it's a win-win to just help. If you notice somebody's not grounded, help them out. Anyway, is your heart open? 100%, yes. And it is grounded. It's open. But the flow, like, it's 100% open, but it's not flowing 100%. So there's 3 parts to this heart, which is what we're going to be doing tomorrow for everyone. There's 3 parts that involve the proper functioning of this heart chakra. So 1 is having it open 100%. And 2, having it grounded to the center of the planet. And then 3, having it flowing 100% out that right arm. So right now, your heart is only flowing 3%. So there's some fear that's keeping it from actually allowing that love out into the world. That block is in your root chakra. There are curses, 100 curses that are keeping that heart from actually flowing. Let's see if your husband's heart is open. 100%, great. It's also grounded, but his is flowing through that circle of reciprocity. So that's good news. All right, welcome. Aloha, Sandy. All right, Charisse wants to know, I am wondering if my husband and I have open hearts. I would also like to know if I personally have any mother or father wounds that I have not worked through and my drama calibration. Okay, so that's a lot. Before I answer that, one of the things that I was remembering, and this is also another thing that we will be working on over the 12 days, that really affects relationships, and that is unresolved past lives with your partner. If you have unresolved past lives, then you might use a whole lifetime trying to clear and work that out. I say, what a waste of time when you can just clear it, right? And it doesn't mean you have to look at all the parts of the relationship and the past life. Like, what was I wearing? Where did I live? What was I doing? None of that matters. The only thing that matters is what's still unresolved. And so those can also be easily cleared. I just had to say that because that was on my mind. All right, let's look at your question. Do your husband and you have open hearts? So Sharice's heart is open 100%, but it's not grounded and it's not flowing. So it's not grounded because there are programs in your root chakra where it doesn't feel safe to ground your heart. Your husband's heart is only open 15%, not grounded, also not flowing. He likely has that same match with you. Partners often match each other in their frequencies. If you have a mother or father wound, so Charisse, your mother wound has been healed 100%. Great. So you probably have a good relationship with your mom. And your father wound, you have cleared only 3%. Yeah, so there's still a lot of work there. And these can be worked on whether or not these people are still alive or not. So they don't need to be alive for you to clear these energies. You don't need to talk to them for these energies to get cleared. So it all works with frequency. All right. Welcome, Sophia from Mentica. All right, Sue. I have a habit I have been trying to clear, but so far I haven't been successful. It picking the top of my head, wondering if there are any curses or black boxes that keep this in play. There are curses, 50, right at the top of your crown. And no programs, which are black boxes. So the curses keep attracting you to pick or itch or scratch or whatever is going on up there. Plus that other issue that you had is at 15%. There are programs in your root chakra related to that. About 50. So that would need to be cleared, Sue. All right. Samantha, hi, Kimberly. Can you scan my heart and see what percent I am? Can you see what story I am still spinning? I am ready to let go of all not serving me. That's a really broad question. I guess you're asking what story are you spinning in relationship to relationships? First, let's see if your heart is open. First, it's not grounded. Your heart's not grounded, and it's only open 3%. There are programs in your root chakra. has a lot of fury in them. So relationships, and so that's also probably why your heart is closed down, because relationships, maybe there was a lot of arguing in past relationships and anger and maybe some abusive tendencies or things along those lines, whether or not in yourself or maybe your parents modeled that. But at any rate, yeah, heart not grounded, and there's a lot of fury in the root chakra that's keeping that heart closed. The story that you're spinning, let me see the main part of this story is actually right at your crown chakra. There's programs, 100 programs, and they have fury. So fury is what is the dominant theme in your relationships. And, maybe you try to bite your tongue or, manage anger, rage, or try to appease your partner so they're not angry, or rageful. Maybe you take that responsibility on like it's your responsibility, which it's not. So let me check one other thing. So this theme that we have tomorrow, which is all about sovereign love, in your crown is where you have your sovereignty. This is where you are the boss of you. Right now, anger, rage, and fury is the boss of your relationships. So let me know if that's a common theme. There's one other thing I want to check. Yes, so that's another thing I thought. So addiction to drama and chaos. So if you've noticed a lot of drama and chaos in your relationships, that's another theme that you're still running 100%. So that's what one of the things we'll be clearing over those 12 days if you wanted to join us. All right, let's see, Sophia. I hope you had a wonderful time in Sedona. We did. It was fantastic. I was wondering if I could get a scan. I have been feeling different and more connected to the universe since her near-death experience. All right. You are grounded. Good earth energy in your legs. No worry circle. Heart's grounded, 100% open, flowing. Your oversoul is connected. Pure source is flowing. Great. And aura, there is some energy in the third layer of your aura from about your head here on down. That might make you feel a little tired. But overall, your energy is looking really good. There are some, did I say programs? 50 in your root chakra. Now, I guess the other part was in your third layer. So those two things would be the only thing that needs to get cleared, Sophia. Good to have you here. Looking good. All right, Elise Brooks. I have severe digestive and reproductive issues my entire life. Is there stuck trauma or sexual trauma, or what is this energy in my digestive tract? Well, it's probably multiple layers. Let me see if I can unravel some of this for you. You asked about sexual trauma. I'm getting a yes from the age of about 10. The age of 10 for about 3 years. Yeah, so see if that resonates. Let me calibrate your digestive organs, and so the reproductive stuff would be related to the sexual trauma, absolutely. As far as the digestive, your stomach is only operating at about 15%. Your small intestines also only 15%. Your pancreas, 15%. Gallbladder, 15%. And a liver, 15%. So all of these are related to programs that you hold in your root chakra. Now, these are placed by ancient interference. When they see a weak link, they will take advantage of that. So all of these can be raised energetically by clearing what's bringing those frequencies down and the programs that hold them in place. Sometimes there are reinstalling loops, so that for those of you who are more advanced healers, you might notice sometimes you clear something and it comes right back. Those are reinstalling loops, so those also need to be cleared. Another thing, parasites, 50% in the small intestines and colon and in your blood. Just those are three things that I just checked right off the bat. So all of that can be helped energetically. And so, yes, we will be working on sexual trauma over the 12 days, but not specifically on your organs. We've done that in other programs. But yeah, if you'd also like to do some one-on-one work, you can set up a consultation, a breakthrough call on my website, and we could talk about how I can help. All right, Daleen. The last several years were very hard for me and I feel numb. How can I get back grounded and get my creative things back? I think, is that creative things? I guess that's what you meant, things back. Well, first of all, yes, you are not grounded. So that's basic energy 101. Without a grounding cord, you're like a house without plumbing. There are a lot of curses in your root chakra. A lot. Let's see. Let me double check because that's a lot. 500. Makes me curious if you took the vaccination. There were a lot of curses in those. There are also a lot of curses in these GLP-1s that a lot of people are doing now, just as a side note. But let's see what else. So not grounded, and you have no creative rings. So you're being compressed from both ends by the dark side. So that is not sovereign at all. And it's nearly impossible to create what you want when all of your creative rings have been compressed. Now, 3 is like just the very basic minimum that I recall learning about when I was first learning about energy. But since doing this work, I've discovered that we can expand all the way up to 100 rings before breaking through to infinity. The more rings we have, the faster we create, the more magically, the more intensely. But just having more rings is not necessarily the answer, because the rings don't care what it amplifies. It's going to make everything bigger. So that's why we do this whole process of running your energy, clearing any anger, rage, fury, fear. You don't want those amplified. And then when your rings expand, then you will be able to create more magically the things that you desire, because your energy field is running more clearly. So I don't think you've ever joined us for the luminary activation. I really highly suggest you do that, because getting ultra grounded is the basics. That's the basic minimum of what we're doing. We're going to spend a good, I usually take about maybe 15 minutes in the beginning talking and laying the foundation for everything we're going to clear. But then spend 40 to 45 minutes just clearing all the things that are in the way of having a big, grounded, open heart and balancing these masculine, feminine energies. So, join us, Daylene. I think you will be pleasantly surprised. All right, Valerie, she would like a scan. So Valerie, also not grounded. There are programs in your root chakra, about 50, that are preventing you from getting grounded. You do have a lot of rings, however. See, yeah, you have an infinite number of rings. So, but you're only in your body 3%. So that's how you cope with having all these rings, which are going to make everything bigger and more intense, is you kind of leave your body because it's not comfortable being in this body where all of these things are amplified by your rings. So clearing those curses will help in your root chakra and programs. I think I mentioned the 50 programs, or did I mention, let's see, 50 programs and curses. Yeah, there's 50 of each of those. So that's kind of just the beginning, so that you can get grounded. And you're actually very fast. You're very fast. So you just letting you know that you weren't grounded, you were able to get grounded right away. So that means that you're really capable of clearing energies very quickly. So you would, if you're inclined or you're looking to improve your relationships or call in a partner or whatever with relationships, that that would be, you would move a lot of energy very quickly. So consider joining us if that feels aligned for you. Kaylin, thanks for the reading. If one's heart is open and grounded, how is their avatar's heart not open? Because wouldn't it be easier to just get rid of the avatar? Oh, that's one way. It won't solve the issue, however. So the purpose of working on an avatar, it's a way of working on things without, it's kind of removing yourself by 1 degree so that it's easier to work on these energies. So, but it's showing you where you have energies that are stuck. So I know you're just pulling my leg, but anyway, I just thought I'd say. All right, Jetta, I would love to know addiction to drama and chaos, please, and percentage of my mother mood. Okay, addiction to drama and chaos, only 15%. It's mostly in your root chakra. And the percentage of your mother wound, so the percentage you've cleared it, 100%. Great job. Sandy says Sedona was life-changing. It was for everyone there. It was great. I can't wait to do it again. We're going to do it in Hawaii, only minus the medicine. Samantha says, thank you. I can see all of this and definitely hit something I hadn't ever seen about my dad, taking responsibility for his anger. Wow, profound gratitude. Yes. So that's just one little drop. You might want to join us for the 12 days. We're diving deep. Jetta says Kimberly's one-on-one work is great. Thank you for the kudos. What are GLPs? It's the, I don't actually know what it stands for, but it's the, like the Ozempics and all of those things that people are injecting to try and lose weight, only to find out that come month 3, their hair is falling out and there's no way to reverse it and their skin is sagging and they don't know how to tighten it up. So all of these things can be done naturally without having to worry about all of those side effects. Great, Daylene. We'd love to have you tomorrow. I will not regret joining the luminary activation. Of course not. Yes, they're the weight loss drugs. Let's see. Hi, Kimberly. So this is Eleanor. Welcome, Eleanor. What is the percentage of my mother wound? So you have cleared it 15%. So you still have some work to do there. It's mostly in your root chakra where there's still fury. Yeah, there's still some fury there. Let's take a peek over here at Instagram and see if anybody has any questions here. You see quite a few people. Okay, here's one from Danny D. The only question. Oops. Okay, it says, I'm ready to attract the one, but is there something in my subconscious that I don't know about blocking this? Let's see. You're grounded. Your heart is grounded. Your heart is open 15%, so you still have some guarding there. It is flowing 100%, however. Let's see. If I were to check your avatar for a relationship, it is currently not grounded. It has no grounding cord. There are programs in the root chakra, about 50, that are designed to keep a certain amount of fury in your relationship so that it doesn't quite feel safe. It feels frustrating. It feels frustrating in relationships. And so there is that piece going on. So it's not grounded. Okay, so as I'm talking, you're so capable. You just grounded it. The heart is grounded, 100% open, but it's not flowing. It's only flowing like 3%. There are black boxes in the root chakra that are preventing that. And also in the left receiving hand, there are, 100 curses. So that's why not able to receive what is coming to you. So the thing about attracting the one is you have to be the one. You're going to attract who you are, right? And so this 12 days is really not about fixing relationships. It's about creating the frequency and the energies that attract the kind of partner that you are looking for. So that is really what we're going to be doing. Let's see, of these things, trust. Yeah, one of the pieces is lack of trust. So you only are trusting about 15%, like trust the other partner. And you have good self-worth. So those are a few of the things. And I think one thing that would be beneficial is that when the one tends to show up, when that one shows up, is to calibrate and check to see if you have any unresolved lifetimes with that partner. You don't want to spend a whole relationship working those out. So if you have unresolved lifetimes, those should be cleared ahead of time. So I hope that helps. Thanks for asking. All right. Okay, good. Let's go back over here. We did that. And I think we'll take this as our last one, Elise. Thanks for my reading. I ask for a body scan. A reading. Happy to book a one-on-one with you. Yes, so you can, book a breakthrough call, and then we could talk about what it is you really are working on and how I can help you. But I'll just do a scan on your frequency. So you are grounded. It's kind of slow, but you are grounded. Good earth. no worry circle. Heart not grounded and only open 3%. Circle of reciprocity not flowing. So you're not giving or receiving. Your oversoul is stuck at the top of your ring, so that's not coming in. And so is pure source. Both are stuck at the top of your rings. Also, the third layer of your aura, especially around the heart, has a lot of fear. So that's why the heart is kind of closed, because of all this stuff in your aura as well. There's a lot of protection going on. So there's probably some old wounds that are still keeping some walls up so that you feel safe. But walls, they can keep stuff out, but then they don't let anything in either. All right. So, yeah, join us tomorrow for the luminary activation. We start at 11 a.m. Pacific time. You can find the link on my website at kimberlysherry.com. And it's also in that QR code if you want to take a peek there. And let's open those hearts. Let's get them grounded so that you can start self-generating some love. So you feel loved, adored, and cherished by you first. Then you can allow others to do the same. We look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. So have a blessed day. Have a blessed night. And otherwise, we'll see you next week. And for those who are joining us for the 12-day program, that starts Monday. And the luminary activation is included in that, by the way. So if you want to do the 12-day program or you're wondering, just take that into consideration as well. All right. Blessings. See you next week. Okay. Bye.